Beyond the Horizon is a civilization game where players compete to become the most influential society in history through exploration and expansion, development and production, research, and technological advancement. First of all, that's super camp sentence right there, right? Second of all, I kind of like the choice where they didn't cap that off with an and, so I knew the sentence was coming to an end, or at least like the gerund, you know what I mean? That's what it is when you have part of a sentence as a gerund, right? Do I have that correct from 6th grade English? Like a chunk of a sentence.
Fragment?
A sentence, right? But what I'm saying is, isn't a gerund like a phrase in a sentence? Am I wrong about that?
That word is unfamiliar to me.
Okay, we'll look up gerund for the podcast.
I believe you. You tend to know these things.
Anyway, now we have some short sentences. Are you ready? Expand the technology tree and make extraordinary inventions. One sentence. Be the first to meet historical leaders and gain their benefits. Manage your resource production and support the growth of your community. Explore new lands, settle villages, fortify cities, and build unique constructions. And you know what the point is? Find your own way to lead your people to eternal glory.
Today on the board, boys.
Beyond the Horizon. And it looks like this game was designed by another group of people using Dennis Chan's system, right? Because he's listed last on the box there. On the back of the box?
Probably. These are the three designers. They do a lot of roll and write. So they did Three Sisters. They did Motor City, French Quarter, that has Board Game Gumbo as one of its spots.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Board Boys Podcast, Season 18, Episode 11, Beyond the Horizon. This is your board boy. A gerund is a verb ending in ing, Rob.
Interesting. That doesn't sound like Cam had it correct.
It also functions as a noun in a sentence. So, Olivia loves running around her block. Running is the gerund.
Yeah. What am I getting that mixed up with?
I don't know.
I also don't know.
Let's see. Other word for sentence fragment.
In the meantime, this
clause, like a clause, right? Or
it's a part of a sentence.
Sure.
When I think of clause, I think of like an extra contingent in a contract.
Yeah, like Santa.
Or Santa, or, you know,
Santy
Scratchy.
Claus.
Well, I think Rob was referring to the Santa Claus, not the Santa Claus.
You mean like the Tim Allen got rocked into?
He was talking about the Santa Claus, not the Santa Claus.
Yeah. Anyways, this is your board boy, son trumps Horizon, Jake.
Spoilers.
Wait, what?
We'll get to that later.
Oh, okay. Oh, you already introduced yourself, didn't you?
I did.
So we're just waiting on me, and this is your board boy, Scatterbrain Cam, back again. And this is 2 episodes in a row I think I've made for the first time in nearly a season. But, you know, it's not like the worst thing in the world having Gia here. And hopefully I can get my schedule organized for this next year where I don't have competing events, like basically all my social stuff converging on Fridays. Jake, it's been a while since you were on BGA, right?
I haven't been on BGA in like a year.
Is that another thing you're trying to keep up?
No, I just haven't been on. I go in waves. I'll go back and I'll start playing a bunch of games again, and then I will not be on for a long time.
We should play a few games of when you come back. We should play a few games of Race for the Galaxy in real time.
Do love me some Race for the Galaxy.
Hey, I hit a pretty important streak. It's going to be a little while till I can say the next thing, but I hit a pretty major streak in Duolingo yesterday. 1,900 days.
That's pretty wild.
Isn't that crazy?
Did you do any like freezes or other things to keep it going?
It freezes, like I have 2 equipped at all times, and like I very rarely miss 2 days in a row. But what'll happen is it'll be like, because I'm a night owl, I'll be like, oh, I got to do my Duolingo before the end of the day, and then I'll be like sending an email and hitting schedule send. You know what I mean? I do a lot of emails where I schedule. Like if you get an email from me, it's probably 8:00 in the morning when you get it because I schedule send all my emails, and I'll be like writing something and like looking at like some figures, and I'll be like, oh, it's 12:01. I missed Duolingo. And so then I do my one for that day. But no, I mean, I don't think they add a day to your streak when you miss a day. I think they just don't kill your streak. So I have done 1,900 days of Duolingo with like, I don't know, let's say probably 50 days in that whole time where they kept my streak going. You know what I mean?
That's super impressive. When Macy and I were going to go to Slovenia earlier this spring, we used Memrise to learn Slovenian. Which is nice because it gets people who speak those language and they do the words and stuff. So it's little short videos of them talking, which is kind of cool. But So that's what we used for it, not Duolingo.
I had somebody at work tell me about another app, and I don't remember the name of it. So
Memrise is good.
but
I'd recommend it.
they said it was a lot of just listening and not so much writing it. So
Yeah, you don't really you spell some words with
Yeah.
Memrise, but it's typically a rotation of it gives you, like you do a vocab, you do reviews, you do listen in context where they give you like little scenes and you listen out to what it
Yeah.
is. And then they also do like a conversation practice, but it gives you some hints and you can type what you want and then hit a translate button out of it too. I don't know how useful I think that one is ultimately, but it was good. It was a good experience in the prep. So if you're looking for other
I'll have to check it out.
non-Duolingos, but
If I can say 3 phrases in Slovenian off the top of my head right now, never having studied Slovenian at all, can I have the Jake Award?
I don't know that I'm going to know all
Okay.
the phrases.
The
because
first
I
one
only
is-
did like 9
The
months.
first one is Dobra dan, because
Good
I'm just
afternoon.
assuming that Slovenian is the same as
Yep.
all the other languages over there, which means good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yep.
Then there's Vala, which is thank you.
That is thank you.
And then there's Molim, which is please. I remember
No, prosim is please.
Prosim. Okay. Maybe
Yep.
Molim is you're welcome. Piva is beer, right?
Piva is beer.
Yeah, I figured you
Actually,
would
I
know
think
that.
it's pivo. I think it's pivo.
Piva, yeah.
Yeah.
hmm I wanted a female beer.
Props to Kim. Yeah, everybody's Dobrodan over there. And
Dobrodan.
Nasvidenje is goodbye. It's yeah, I learned quite a bit. Actually, we would try to speak Slovenian and they would just kind of look at us and smile and then we'd speak English.
So
that's how it went.
you guys went to Slovenia?
We did. We were there for 8 days. Yeah. It was
Did you go into any of the other countries at all?
We didn't. We stayed there. However, we went to Piran, which is like Slovenia's very small coast, and you could see Croatia to the left, and you could see Italy to the right, which is pretty cool. But nope, we just did Slovenia.
Yeah, I've actually been through that part of Slovenia because I took a bus one time from Venice to Pula, Croatia. So
Yeah, it was great. I
we actually
really
stopped
highly
there
recommend.
too. I stopped at the port, so
Okay.
and got out of the bus, and so I've been on Slovenian soil as well.
One of the things that I think just kind of blew my mind is the rate of people smoking is so much higher. Like online it says 1 in 5. Our experience in Ljubljana, it was way higher than that. It was like at least 40% of people smoke.
Yeah, everybody smokes in that part of the world.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because don't people from Greece live a really long time? Isn't that one of the countries where people live
Japan
forever?
is definitely the most, but yeah,
But
Spain's high
Japanese
too.
people smoke like crazy too.
Yeah,
Like chimneys, man.
interesting.
But it's like maybe it's because of the olive oil. You know? Olive oil is
Perhaps.
good for you. It's the seed oils over here. The seed oils are what's killing us.
I mean, Iowa has the highest, like the worst water and the highest cancer rates or something.
Worst water, really?
I don't believe the worst water thing, but I do believe highest cancer rates because I had a lung X-ray or CAT scan or something a couple years ago. Because when I saw my kidney stone, they did a CAT scan on my kidney stone to see if the stone was still there or whatever, and they saw like a lump in my lung. So and they're like, this is probably just not actually anything, but you should go get your lungs checked out just in case. So I go to the CAT scan people and they didn't find anything, but they did go, by the way, you don't have them, but like almost everybody has particles in their lungs in Iowa because you're constantly breathing in pesticides.
Well, I think they say a lot of it's because of the runoff into the water.
Oh, really?
That's fascinating. It does specifically say new cancer diagnosis for details, but I would have thought it for sure it's the West where we did all of our, atomic bomb testing.
Also, it has a lot of older population too. I think that probably factors into it as well.
I would say that's fascinating. Kentucky, most things are saying has the highest one, but Iowa is on the list.
Yeah. I mean,
Interesting.
It was a recent study or something that came out. So,
Well, now we know what to go. Like, there's not a lot of stuff I'll go. I'm just too lazy. But then I would join the Get Our Water Cleaner protest. Whichever one of you guys gets that started, I'll go march on that one.
It doesn't help that Iowa has 7 times as many pigs as humans. That hurts our rates there.
Yeah.
unfortunately, pork is very tasty.
It is.
Pork is very tasty, but I don't know that we need 28 million pigs.
That's true.
in Iowa.
I did.
Well, they're not just for us. They're for everybody.
I just
you know?
did hit up made some pulled pork last weekend, and it was choice.
That is excellent, though. Just like going to the store and buying like 50 pork chops for $5.
They are cheap here. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, let's talk about some games we've been playing. You guys been playing any games?
I have. I want to talk
I actually
about one.
have too.
So there's a game I played a while ago, and I wanted to play it again before I talked about it. So it's Emberleaf, which is...
Oh, dude, I was going to talk about that one. Awesome.
Nice. Which is Frank West, who is the same designer as Isla Cats. So I got this for my mom for Christmas, I think. Maybe her birthday last year. But she loves Isla Cats, so I thought we'd do it. It didn't really seem that similar to Isla Cats, but I figured, hey, second, design that's out of the out of the universe of Isle of Cats, so it'd be worth it. So it is basically on your turn, you're either playing a card or you're sliding all of your cards. And when you slide cards, if they have an ability to activate on a slide, they'll do something. Other cards have, activate when you play them. Other cards activate when they slide off of your board. So, but basically you're doing one of those two things. I think the placement and sliding component of this game are awesome. Like there's just so much. There's so much to plan, and when is the right time and right place to put somebody. I think that stuff is so interesting. I just don't know how much I think the rest of the game is interesting.
It's so I've been playing it like a game on BGA, and I played like the first half of it without like reading the rules at all, and then I went and did the tutorial, and I'm like, it seemed complex, and then when I did the tutorial, I'm like, oh, this is actually very simple. And I think I was just kind of like, what phased me was just like the cards are so awesome looking, and in depth, and have like multiple types of abilities and like little tags at the top. And then once you realize kind of what they all do, it's like, oh yeah, this makes sense. But then like all your actions kind of functionally go towards like building something on the map or like fighting enemies that don't fight back
or gathering the resources.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. But I thought, like, if you had told me it was somebody trying to make like an Everdelian type game, that's what it reminds me of more, even though Everdell is like actually like way more complex than Emberleaf. But the little mice, and well, I guess I've played Everdell with like a ton of expansions and stuff.
Yeah.
Basic Everdell is probably about the same as Emberleaf. Yeah. But I like the card comboing in Everdell. I grew to like that one a lot after hating it when I first played it the first couple times.
Yeah, Everdell is definitely a tableau builder, and you're building different things. And this isn't so much that. I mean, you have temporary tableaus and what you place on your board, but I don't know. I just haven't really seen a lot of games that do the cards typically always have two abilities,
don't they?
They changed it. It's just sliding now. I think they called it that when it was in the Kickstarter, but everything in the rulebook now just says sliding.
That's too bad. I like the phrase card dancing.
See, interestingly enough, I was thinking about backing it, and when card dancing, I listened to like the designer talk about it, and I was like, yeah, I'm not into it. So
you just like sliding.
I think sliding is better for me, but it's again what you're doing on the board, the actions you're kind of culminating to, and the way those score, I don't know that I love that. The timer is when you claim these trophies, and there kind of seems to be a lot of circumstantial timing for when that happens, the order of which people fight things and hitting the bottom thing or being the last one to fill an area. So I don't know how much I like that, but I really, really like the way that you take your actions and how that all times out.
Do you know who I'd actually recommend this game to is fans of Flamecraft?
Yeah, I could see that.
Because it's like the same thing where you're like, oh, I have my own little team of animals. You get a unique team of animals at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
All the cards are unique. It's for people who like the atmosphere of a game, which is really, really good in my opinion. Like 10 out of 10 atmosphere. So
yeah, it's interesting. It's something I've played twice now, and I've enjoyed it both plays. And it seems like you can definitely do some different stuff and be successful. So
it says the weight's 3.13. I don't really believe that.
There is a lot of positive positive interaction in the game too. So when you claim trophies, it often rewards everybody. There's these different milestones on the board that when you hit them, everybody gets. So it's neat.
Yeah, that game's been in a lot of hot games, play-to-win areas that I've seen. It's just fallen into the fuzz of cute animal game number 57 for me.
I agree, but I
should give it a shot at some point, but it was lost in the shuffle.
I think they've done better on the cute animals front than most of the other games that do that, but maybe like worse on the how like is it actually fun front. But it's still, I think it's fun. I still like it.
I got a chance to play a game from IV Studios called Realm of Reckoning.
Yeah.
The designers are Max Anderson, Zach Dixon, and Austin Harrison, and the artist is Reese Parker. I'm not a really big IV Studios person. I mean, we reviewed Tend on the podcast.
I really want to like Tend. I need to go back and play it a couple more times.
But they have some other ones too. This one, I mean, out of all of them I've played, I think I like this one the most. So as always, their production is just fantastic. Their art is cool.
Yeah.
The game has area majority, drafting, auction, sealed bid, and voting. Those are the mechanisms. So how that goes is basically you play 3 rounds. Every round, you pick a card. You get to do the middle thing on that card, and then you get to tuck that card under your board. And you can tuck it at the top or the bottom. And there's 3 colors up top and 2 colors on the bottom, or maybe it's 3 and 3. Anyway, you're trying to have symbols showing, or you can get track bumps. Every color has like a track you can go on. And then there will be a battle. I forget the actual name of it, but a battle that will happen in one of the regions. And the regions are all colored differently. And when the battle happens at the end of the round, or there's randomly 2 cards shuffled into the draft, so somebody can trigger one of those by picking the card and making it happen. Everyone picks up their secret little wheel, and you decide how much power you want to spend on the battle. And you can do that from guys on the board, or you can use track bumps, or there's these mercenary cards you can do, or there's these static pawns you have on your board that like give you permanent +1s, or you can spend them and they give you a +3. So there's like half a dozen different ways to give power to it. And when you win, if you win, you get to pick the reward on the card that was chosen. And the top one is putting a little monument out. And then the middle ones have some different things on it. And then the one at the bottom, if you lose, you don't have to spend your stuff, but a negative thing happens to you. Well, the monuments you put out pick the scoring for the game. So you get to pick what's going to score. And in the first round, if you win one, that's going to score 3 times. Second round's going to score twice. Third round's going to score once. So basically you have these 9 battles over the 3 rounds, and you're drafting these cards and kind of battling over the regions. Oh, the other unique thing is whoever triggers the battle, there's these little pillars that are around there that will tell you what colors you get to battle with. And so in the blue region, let's say in round 3, people have moved the blue pillars out of there and there's nothing in there. When you do it, you might get to pick the yellow pillar and move the yellow pillar into there. Or there might be yellow, pink, and blue in there. And that means you can pick from yellow, pink, or blue to use those items to bid with. So the more colors, the more bid options people could have. So like that was a really cool, unique thing that I thought that this game had. Was just the bidding and the drafting was really cool.
Sounds fun. I everything I've seen from them has cool systems. And ultimately, I'd like to get back into more Tend because it's just such a cool idea. But I think like this was a smaller box, one of their games, right? Or was this a full one?
This is a pretty big game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had one of my cousins texted me the other day and was like, "Man, have you played Moonrakers?" Is them, right?
Yeah.
He was like, "Have you played Moonrakers?" And I'm like, "It's always looked cool. I got Tend from them." And he's like, "It's the awesomest game I've ever played." I don't know if have any of you guys ever played that one?
Nope.
Anyway,
I've heard good things.
Yeah, looks cool.
They also have that game Fractured Sky that I haven't played.
I think I played that on BGA. It's like a circle and you're moving around on different islands.
Fractured Skies on BGA?
Maybe not.
I don't think so.
I'm thinking of a different game. I must be.
Maybe it is. I mean, so much stuff is on BGA now, including a lot of stuff that I haven't played yet that I want to play on BGA. Man, I don't think this is on there. Can I talk about a casual game? Can I be a filthy casual for a little bit?
Do it up.
So I went over to Barnes & Noble the other day because I was in the area and everybody's been yapping about the huge sale they have, which they do like once a year because they keep thinking that they're going to be a place people buy board games, but like they're definitely not, right? But they have this huge board game shelf in all their stores with every game. Sorry, Barnes & Noble, I just don't think it's happening.
They have a really good selection.
They do have a really good selection. I think if they had like a board game night, people would buy board games there. But I don't know. Maybe some B&Ns are doing that, but not in Des Moines. Anyway, I thumbed through everything. I was tempted to buy a few different things, but I just decided to grab one game, and it's one I've been kind of wanting to play for a while because it's like right up Cam's alley with like what you do in the game, and it's called Shake That City. Have you guys played that?
Yeah.
You have played it. I hadn't played it until recently, and I got it for $15, and I'm very pleased with the $15 I spent on it because it's like a super good little puzzle game for what it is. You build this little box that like catches the cubes in it, kind of like you shake it up, and like 9 cubes slot into like a little internal slot. You press a button and they all fall out in a nice little square of cubes. And one person picks like one set of cubes to put on their board, and everybody else gets to pick a different color. And the wrinkle of the game is that you can't rotate or like organize the cubes you're getting. Like they're in a grid, and if you get like all the green cubes, you have to build all of them how they're oriented in their relationship to the 3x3 cube on your 6x6 board. And after that, it's pretty simple scoring, but like the fun part of the game is trying to organize your cubes, and each cube you place on your board scores a certain way. And then also around the ring of your board, you have like little objectives And between the two of those, it's like, it's one of those puzzle games where like you can't just sit and AP because it's so simple, but you immediately have to start making tough decisions because every turn you take in one direction kind of precludes you from doing one of the other things you were trying to do. And I've played it 3 or 4 times, and I think it's like one of the most excellent casual games I've ever played.
Nice.
Because it's like a 1-minute teach.
Right.
Too. Yeah. So, I don't know. What did you think of it?
That is not the game I was thinking of. Sorry.
Oh, really?
Shaky Manor was the game.
Shaky Manor.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll bring Shake That City for you guys to play some. But like I saw it go on like new game shelves, and I think it was just like it's like $40 MSRP or something like that. And I'm like, this game looks way too light to really want to pay that for this. But the second it was on sale, I was like, now I'll try it. And honestly, if you're the type of people who like simple puzzle games, like if you like Patchwork, if you like, I'm trying to think of another like spatial like puzzle game that's really good for like 2, 3, 4 players. There's a lot of them out there. But if you like that kind of thing where it's like a quick like 15, 20-minute game, that works great. 2 works great at 3, works great at 4, all those numbers. You honestly, because it's like one of those things where like you could play with like 8 people if you had 2 copies of the game or whatever, because it's a simultaneous placement thing. But anyway, Shake That City, I was super impressed with it. It's one of those games that's probably like a 6.9 on BGG, but like an 8 in my heart.
That's fine. There's lots of games like that for me.
Yeah, 100%. I like every game,
especially like if things are good with kids or families or things like that. There's one I want to talk about called Unstoppable.
Ooh.
It is by John D. Clare and Renegade Game Studios.
I like JDC.
I really didn't know anything about this. I knew it had card crafting in it because that's kind of his jam. But as soon as I heard that they were coming out with a Dungeon Crawler Carl version of this, I'm like, well, I need to find out if I like Unstoppable. And I think Dungeon Crawler Carl will fit this mold like perfectly.
Can I ask you a question? Does everybody love Dungeon Crawler Carl, or is it just like our Discord?
It's super popular.
It's huge.
It is super popular.
Okay.
And as a result, my nonconformist ways are making me refuse to have anything to do with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you in that, but like I don't do that because I'm a nonconformist. I do that because I don't want to like consume something and then hate it and then be like biting my tongue when people talk about it.
I have yet to talk to somebody, and I've had multiple people that were like, that's not my jam, and then they started it, and then they loved it. So
really?
I've heard wonderful things.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Anyway, it is a 1 to 2 player game. I played it 2 players, and I could see like this would be, it's a co-op solo game where you're trying to beat a big bad guy. And you start with a deck of cards, and then there's a card row you can buy from. There's stacks of them. And you have a little marker depending on what level you are. And there's like a little temporary level up marker. So there's ways for your level up marker to go ahead of your actual level. And then at the beginning of a round, wherever your little disc ahead, whatever level you're at, including the level ahead thing, you get to draw 3 cards from that stack and pick one to add to your deck. Now what you do is you take that card and then you take a card from this other stack and you put it in there. So every card that is in your deck is also a bad card on the other side. And so as you're drawing them, you're drawing these threats, and then you're using your cards to deal with the threats. And then when you kill the card, it comes into your hand as a good card. And then as you level up, that is when you're trying to get through your deck as fast as you can, because every time you go through your deck, you actually level up and you get a card from the boss deck. And then when you complete the boss deck card, that actually like damages the actual boss. So that's kind of how the game goes. Once you get up into like the higher levels of the cards, some of the cards that they do is crazy things. And sometimes you'll just see tons of bad guys in front of you. Like, how am I going to deal with this? But you just can combo attacks into attacks into attacks. So like the feedback loop of the game is really fun. You can also buy upgrades for your cards. There's like 2 little shield slots. So you could have up to 4 cards in a sleeve. But every upgrade you buy also makes the boss hard, or makes that card harder to fight. So it's a really unique system. If you like deck builders, co-op type things, I think Unstoppable, especially if you have like a partner you want to play with, or this is a game that I would actually just play by myself because it's just, you're playing cards and having fun. But when you're playing with 2 people, you're literally just sitting side by side, just doing your own thing. And every once in a while, like you can like fight each other's guys. Like I got like 4 extra damage. Do you need some damage? Or you can kind of help each other a little bit. But besides that, the turns are all simultaneous. So there's not even waiting for turns or anything like that. Which makes me wonder, like, this could be like a 3 or 4 player game. They would just have to like amp up the difficulty of the stuff, I guess. Like, I don't know why it's stuck at 1 or 2, because I don't think that would like make the playtime that much
Maybe
longer.
just the number of cards. I mean, there's quite a few cards
there'd
in
have
there.
to be like way more stuff in the box. But this box was half empty. Like, they can add
sure.
You can just keep adding to this thing, right? So, and it sounds like the Dungeon Crawler Carl one is going to include some extra new stuff. So, interested to check it out.
Yeah, I have it. It seemed really interesting, and I tend to like solo games, but it is like a lot of other games right now, just sitting on my shelf waiting for me to try it. I printed an insert for it and everything, and I haven't done it
lucky
yet.
for you, you only need yourself to do that.
That's true. That still, for whatever reason, I haven't been playing more solo games.
Just pack that in your suitcase.
I should. So, but every time I do pack a board game, then I don't play it, and I'm like, why did I struggle at this thing and the thing? A lot of times when I travel for work, I have activities I have to do at night the whole time too. So
gotcha.
It makes it hard to
no free Jake time.
Not a lot, and usually then it's like I need to recover. So
sure.
Yeah.
I just want to talk quickly about Galileo Galilei, the expansion.
Whoa, the expansion?
Played this. Basically, it just adds a bunch more player powers, which is awesome. And then it adds these giant inquisitors that go on the moon. So in this one, you're observing the moon. So the next thing you can do, besides doing the planet observations, like the big planet card observations or the little moon observations, is you can do our moon. And there's a token that you have to use at least one of every color of dice. And then you get a bonus, and then you get a scoring thing, and then everyone else gets a lesser scoring thing. But then this giant inquisitor that counts as a double inquisitor for all purposes comes to your town and hangs out in your basement until you yeet him all the way over the right, and then he instantly leaves and goes on a board where you get a really kick-ass big bonus.
I wouldn't want an inquisitor in my basement.
Yeah, so anyway, the expansion adds not a ton of stuff. It was pretty fun. It added just an extra thing to kind of look at in the sky. And it added some pretty interesting more characters for like unique player power. So really easy expansion to add in. That was the Luna expansion for Galileo Galilei.
Kim, did you ever play that one?
I didn't. I never played Galileo Galilei. I think it probably came out like in the sometime in between the time Gia was born and Gabby being born, and like that. Those 2 years were just like a nonstop deluge of stuff to do, right? So,
but you played SETI, which is same designer.
I've played SETI, yeah. Mm-hmm. Is Galileo Galilei as super long as SETI?
No. It's closer to like an hour.
It's Holek, right? Isn't that the guy's name?
Yeah.
I'm interested in his fish one. That looks cool, right? Have you guys played that? Aquaria.
Yeah, it's good.
No?
I would say I like Galileo better. If I were to rank his games, I would say SETI, Galileo, Aquaria.
What about Teagarden? I thought you liked Teagarden more than Galileo. I think on the podcast I was the only one who played.
I think I've gone the other way now.
Okay.
I think I like them all.
Yeah.
They're all a pretty high bar. So, all right. Well, tonight on the podcast, we played Beyond the Horizon from Cranio Creations and I guess Capstone here in the U.S. It is by Dennis K. Chan, Adam Hill, Ben Pinchbeck, Matt Riddle. The artist is Agnieszka Dabrowski. Oh, no. Agnieszka D. and Clemens Franz. That last name, I'm not going to get there.
There is not a Clemens Franz. Well, never mind. In the leaders, there are.
I was like, that looks a lot like Clemens Franz, but I didn't think it was him.
Only in the people, though, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The game re-implements Beyond the Sun. It is currently ranked 2839th overall. That is 7.1 on Board Game Geek. It came out in 2024. 2-4, best at 3. We hit that on the nail tonight. Head on the nail. We hit it on the head.
Nail on the head.
Exactly. 90 to 120 minutes, ages 14 plus. The weight is 3.44 out of 5. Jake, what are we doing Beyond the Horizon?
So in a very similar fashion to Beyond the Sun, you are moving a action selection pawn around to at the beginning of the game, just take some basic actions that allow you to gain level 1 technologies or put a unit on the map that you're exploring and potentially settling. and then eventually unlocking more technologies, which open up the variety of actions that you can take, and then you get little bonuses for being the first to explore a high level technology. So the things that you're doing with that are continuing up this tech tree that unlocks new abilities that are potentially going to be different each game, especially with the location that leads to them, and then also interacting with a sideboard that you are exploring and flipping up different hexes that have different options or abilities that you gain from either settling them or fortifying them, which are two different actions that you take part in later. You continue the game until there are 4 different achievements claimed across the 3 achievement cards that are put up each game, and that is Beyond the Horizon.
All right, well, let's get to the table and come back with our thoughts on Beyond the Horizon. All right, we're back. Initial thoughts time here on the Board Boys podcast for Beyond the Horizon from Cranio Creations and Capstone Games. I'll go first. I had always kind of liked Beyond the Sun, and I saw this one was coming out by Cranio and a lot of familiar names that I liked, and I was like, well, maybe they're going to like juice it up a little bit, so I thought I'd give it a shot. I didn't own Beyond the Sun, so I thought this would be the one to own.
You once said that Beyond the Sun may be your favorite game that you don't own.
That's true. And now I basically own it.
I came in thinking it was going to be like Beyond the Sun, and I was right. And I do really like Beyond the Sun, and I also don't own it because I just feel like putting out all those cards and stuff would be a lot of work, but maybe it's not even really that much work.
Well, you don't necessarily put a lot of them out, though. They just sit in the decks until then when you get the text, you do it.
I will say setup. I mean, I set it up today by myself, and I set it up really fast.
Yeah, setup's not too bad.
No,
I don't know. I don't know why I think that. I think I'm going to go buy Beyond the Sun like 30 seconds after we leave this podcast, or maybe Beyond the Horizon. Maybe we'll see. We'll see if I give it a 3.5, Boeing 4.5, a 7.
Well, for me, when we did our top 10s a while ago, Beyond the Sun is a top 10 game for me. So as soon as I saw that a new version was coming out, I was automatically invested. And then not only that, but I really enjoy the combination of Adam Hill, Matt Riddle, and Ben Pinchback as well. They've made several roll and writes that I really enjoy. I think Three Sisters is my favorite amongst them. I just actually there's a new version of Three Sisters that has like a campaign. So I just bought that, and maybe someday I'll play it and I'll talk about how it goes.
Whoa, that's cool. I've played Three Sisters once, and it was really fun.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
And you got it for me, actually.
It was a Secret Santa.
I think you've been my Secret Santa like multiple times.
2 times you did it out of both times, yeah.
All right, well, let's hit the pros for Beyond the Horizon.
You know what I have played a ton of, though, is Jake also got me Welcome to the Moon or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And that game is super good.
Have you done the whole campaign of that?
I haven't done the whole campaign in the physical game, but I've played all the maps.
Okay. Yep, that's a fun game as well. So I think for pros, it's going to lean heavily on a lot of the pros that come with Beyond the Sun, and the fact that there is really unique technologies that you get to kind of determine where they pop up, and that just creates a lot of interesting way to do the core things that you do in this game. So I think that is really neat. This also has the same type of production tracks where it's just a fun setup. And granted, there's lots of ways you can kind of wobble around to get the things out you need, but you can't get yourself backwards to where you're pulling too many population out and then not have the ability to produce them. I think it's probably harder to get stuck in this game than it is in Beyond the Sun. I think you can get stuck easier. Yeah,
I feel like it is easier to not get stuck because I usually get stuck in Beyond the Sun, and in this one I'm usually pretty good on my peeps.
I wonder if how much of it is flipping those tiles over and getting the rewards, because that typically gives you money and or the figures that you use to do things, which is the dice in Beyond the Sun. So I wonder if that is primarily where...
Yeah. I mean, my biggest pro, I think, is what's new on this, and that is the exploration board instead of flying around the solar system, I guess. And it's cool because you can explore a new tile, and then the tile is going to give you something, and then you can settle that tile, and once it's settled, somebody can fortify it. And when you settle it, you get a cool action, and you're not... I don't know. I was always frustrated in Beyond the Sun with the area majority things that kind of pop off the cards that go over there, because you really had to time out exactly what you're doing and when, and then get the most and then make it happen. And in this one, it's like, Sure, somebody could walk over and like snake a settle before you, but generally they're walking off in their own direction, doing their own thing. Maybe they will build a building you've already built, like later on, which I also like that. Like if you're not going to settle or fortify, you can get these building tiles and you can build them. And then they give you like a one-time kind of big bonus and they clear a cube off your board as well. So, and I like how they move all that into like the second thing you do in your turn where you can do those 3 different things.
Yeah, I think in this game there's also the potential to move in and then, settle or fortify an area on one turn. Whereas I don't really feel like there's any way to do that in Beyond the Sun. It always involves you getting there, having the majority, and then setting yourself up for a colonization action. So it's speaking to what Rob said, you can kind of just complete the whole process rather than just kind of waiting and being at the mercy of what might happen in the meantime.
There's a very different thing about probably the biggest difference between these two games is that, and I think this is the reason that things are the way they are in this one, is you don't really get anything for moving in this one. But Beyond the Sun...
you do if you flip over the new tiles.
Right, you do get like a little benefit, but like Beyond the Sun has like fairly sophisticated things you can do by going over and like taking, like just having a military presence on the planets. And also that's the way you get like a lot of your discs out, which are cubes in this one. And like by like protecting your areas. And so you actually get a lot usually from doing a movement action and Beyond the Sun, whereas you maybe just get a little from moving in this. So I think that's the reason they have it that way. I said a long time ago, and I don't know if I still believe that after seeing some of the things Jake can do in Agricola, but I've always said that like Agricola was kind of a game about surviving and the Caverna, the sequel, was kind of a game about thriving. And I sort of feel like this is the same thing where Beyond the Sun is like you're working against like a tough economy, and in this one, you're seeing how hard you can spank a bigger economy, you know what I mean?
So on that note, I do want to say, I think much like Beyond the Sun, though, there hits a point in this game where if things are going right for you, you're just going to keep going.
Yeah.
And if things aren't, you're just stuck. And I think a lot of that has to do with the choices you make and planning for the future. But for instance, in the game that we played here, I was really aggressive with getting technology at first, which then I tried to shift gears and lean into what my faction abilities were. But like I just didn't have good enough actions to do the things that I needed to do to make that happen. And there really is no catching back up in either game once that happens to you. If you kind of hit that stall point, like you're just kind of stuck. But I do feel like this is less punishing than Beyond the Sun. And I also think there are more ways to just kind of eke out the things that you need than there are, again, in Beyond the Sun.
I really like the government cards as well. You all start with a player power, and they're all double-sided, so there's 8 different ones. And I guess every card kind of it focuses on a different facet of the game. And I think some of them are easier to use than others. So if I was playing with a new player, I might steer them towards one of this one is just going to give you stuff thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like mine today just basically gave me money and then a lot of flexibility in my tracks and was pretty easy to use. I think the settle and the fortify ones are probably a little harder to use, but are also fairly powerful if you're good at unlocking them, I guess.
Well, there are huge points and benefits available from doing board actions for sure.
Yeah, and then that goes right along with that third new track that's on the bottom for the cogs and unlocking that, because that's going to unlock you some buildings that you can put out and then unlock. It's not like when you go to a new level, you lose your old ability. You get cumulative abilities, and the last one is like an endgame scoring thing. So unlocking that and then being able to score it is good as well.
I think the tension is really good still, like in Beyond the Sun, like whether, Cam was, again, you know the level of enjoyment Cam's having in a game with how much he gets frustrated at the things that are happening in it, but, he was kind of grumbling about not getting to determine the technology at the level 2 layer because of a decision they made that was definitely very fruitful for him later. But yeah. I like that tension of who is going to be the one to pick that. And certainly more plays of this are going to help you probably figure out what types of cards do what and which technologies you want to lean into. And that can make a big difference. But honestly, upon the couple plays of this I don't know that I felt the extreme differences in the colors of technology for what they potentially give you. Whereas I feel like maybe that's more separate in Beyond the Sun. But there's also only 3 in Beyond the Sun. There's 4 in this one.
Oh, yeah.
No, wait. There are 4.
I think it's the same
There are
thing.
4. Yeah.
Where there's like military and
it's
economy.
It's just blue, green, red, yellow. It is 4. Never mind. My bad.
Yeah, This game is cool because like the thing that differentiates it from your standard like civilization builder with like a tech track is that who knows what the tech track is going to be in this game. I do kind of like the decision they made in this one where you're building towards a level 4 technology that you know what it is. But at the same time, it does take away some player agency that exists in Beyond the Sun, where you might look at 2 level 4 techs you pick, and one is like not as good for you as the other one, but you're like, yeah, but it's better for me by a larger margin than it is for these other people behind me than this other one that I could pick. And like, if Rob gets to it, he gets 2 more points than me. So I don't know. I like both. I think if there was a reason that I would own both these games, it would be for the board action, like the civilization board actions and like the knowing what my end game scoring is going to be and like the government things. Those are like the high points of this game for me, or at least the differences. Did we talk about all the things that are fun about this? Oh, did we talk about the extra tiles that you add on the board at all? Because that's really cool.
I did the buildings.
Yeah, those are cool. The buildings are another cool thing.
Yeah,
But
that's definitely a whole new thing that is not apparent at all in Beyond the Sun. So that's a fun wrinkle.
I think the more I'm thinking about this during the review, the more reasons I'm finding to like, if I like to put both on my shelf. So that's cool.
I mean, if you are, I'm going to kind of refute this a little bit later, I guess, but I do think that if you are somebody who really, really enjoys Beyond the Sun, it's just essentially more of something that you really like. I mean, the technologies are different. You know, there's different options that exist now that didn't exist before, and there's just some kind of, wiggling around that you can do in this one that maybe you can't otherwise. So I agree with that statement. I don't think they're both necessary, but if you are somebody who really enjoys it, I think they complement each other.
Oh, I love that you have to do some board building in order to unlock the advanced actions, because if you're not playing a tech game, you're going to have access to those pretty much no matter what. But if you're doing tech and you are in a rut like I was, like I had to go figure out how to get access to a couple of those advanced actions before I was able to like, once I hit like all the tech, then it was like no problem anymore. But like in the middle of the game, I was very close to spinning out, and I was like, I have to focus on doing this stuff here in order to be able to do these things. And I thought that was really cool because in BTS, they just show up and you can just start doing them. And I loved that. That was great.
Yeah, I forgot about that they just kind of pop up. I do like the pre-requirements for all the advanced actions. And there's obviously still ways to find them on the tech cards. I really like tech trees. I mean, Tech Tree, the game, still exists here, and that's fun. I don't know if the board is exactly the same, but does it feel similar to you?
I think it's exactly, except the 4s, because in Beyond the Sun, you only have to have 2 prerequisites to get to a 4, and in this one,
they're making it harder to get to the 4s.
But one of them is still 2, but the rest of so yes, they are making it. You have to have potentially more prerequisites than you would have to have before, but the rest of it, I think, is designed almost identically. Like even the shortcut to the level 3, where you skip over the 2, that's in the same place.
Yeah.
So they really leaned on that structure.
I mean, I can pop into a couple cons. I think the production on this, unfortunately, isn't much better than a Rio Grande production.
I mean, I think it's pretty significantly worse. Like granted, this probably contributed to the cost. And, one of Rob's comments before about Beyond the Sun is, why is this game so expensive, especially with how it looks? But like the dice are so much better than the way that they have things now. And I know that wouldn't entirely work because there's 2 different types of workers. Yeah. There's your settlers and your fortifiers. So a die maybe wouldn't work in the same way, but like it looks way better with Beyond the Sun. I think that it has better utility.
I don't know about if it looks better. I think that the machining on the wood parts, there's just some that just were not the same size as others.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people criticize this game for having to stack the little wooden shit on top of the wooden pillar. I honestly don't think that's that big of a deal. We use these little crowns that Jake printed tonight, and they were nice, but they were almost maybe harder to use than just not using them. Maybe if we left them on there, but they didn't even quite sit right in those things.
I think once you bent them to get them in there, then they were pliable enough.
Like,
probably just because they hadn't been used.
If it's on there, like I'm picking up and grabbing it with the shit anyway. I don't know. Because you have a settler, basically you have like a soldier guy and then a settler, you need to have 2 different types of things and ways to signify those things. And the way they did it, I think, is okay. I mean, it probably could have been better, but I don't think it's like the travesty that people are like. That is one of the big things that people are hammering this game about review-wise anyway.
Well, and that's the con too, is like, I know you want to make it more complex, but do you really need the 2 colors of guys? I mean, like,
Honestly,
really?
that's definitely a con for me. Like, I liked the simplicity in Beyond the Sun of having the most in an area gets you an incentive, and then you colonize it. There's not 2 different levels, and you have to wait on the second one. And again, the interaction is not negative. Like Rob mentioned, it's pretty few and far between when somebody actually moves into a place that really matters for you.
Yeah.
But I ultimately think it's kind of unnecessary to have the 2 different types.
I really like the 2 types. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if there was more, like, because it was like the buildings always just took brown guys to, and so I'm just like, well, I only need gray guys for just fortifying.
Yep.
And so, like, I'm just going to count, like, because most of the time you can just choose which color you get. I guess it does, the one positive thing that it does is it does make you plan ahead so that later you go, I wish I had more gray because I could go fortify this area. So, I mean, that's fine, but, like, I don't know, like, if the game was dice instead, just like Beyond the Sun, and everything just went to 4, and it was just one type, I think it would be a lot smoother experience as far as the, all the chits is concerned.
I also just don't know that I like the fact that I guess another difference is they broke away the action for actually, like taking a card and Beyond the Sun, and that's yours and you're getting the benefits from it. That was an action before. Now the action is getting these little chits that allow you to take that action. And it just feels kind of weird. Like my turn is getting this token that I then can just use. Now you don't have to use it. I guess that's what's kind of cool. You do have the ability to store it and use it later, and you only get one of the 4 options for what you can do with that. But I don't think that I like it, and I think I dislike it more than I like it, although I do acknowledge there are positives from it.
There were a lot of times, and so here's where I think just a counterpoint on, hey, like, it's easy, if you get stalled out in this game, like, that is a benefit for, like, the chit instead of the action. Like, hey, I just got this ability to go colonize supply an area, whatever it's called, but I can't do it right now. I can save it till later. And so it actually helps you get unstuck because you can go get the ability to do the thing and then build towards it.
But you also still have to be in the circumstance to be able to utilize it. So I don't know. I guess it felt kind of weird sometimes to take a turn, to spend stuff. Now, I didn't actually have to grab the token, but to grab the token to then just use the token. I like that there's utility and that you don't have to use it immediately, but it just feels kind of disjointed, especially if you're intending on using it the turn that you get it.
I agree with that. And then there's very few places where you actually just do the action. Most of it is get the token. I honestly think it should have been maybe all one way or all the other way. That would have been more clear.
Yeah.
I don't mind it being the token because I think it's interesting because you don't always do part 2 of your turn. Like, you don't do it very often. So being able to do that part whenever you want based on maybe you picking a totally different action, I think is great. It's kind of like a lot of games we've talked about where the main thing you do in the game isn't the actual action you take, but kind of the secondary action.
Yeah.
Kind of like Anunnaki. And there's another game more recently, the review that was just like that Tim and I were talking about. I can't remember which one it was now.
Probably Twilight Imperium.
I don't
Most
think
definitely.
So. If you're talking about Tim, it's probably about TI. Bro.
I think it was Trismegistus, 2nd edition. I think so. Because that was the only other one that was just him and I. All right, does anybody else have any other cons?
I think everything else I'm going to say is just going to kind of fall into my overall thoughts. So,
all right, well,
yeah, I mean, that's just the main con is that, like, this game's sort of like when like Nintendo made like the Zelda version of Dynasty Warriors, and it like had a bunch of extra Zelda stuff in it that was really cool. And it's like you still do all the same thing and it's still really fun, but at the end of the day, it's still just kind of Dynasty Warriors. I mean, that's sort of what this game is to Beyond the Sun. But that's not bad. Like, I had a fun time. I enjoyed it.
All right, well, final thoughts time here on the Board Boys podcast. We have a 3 boing rating scale, 0 being the worst, 3 being the best, half boings allowed. 4 boings is your favorite game ever. a 0-point game of Beyond the Horizon, I think is... What do you think it is, Cam?
You never unlock your A ability.
That's sad.
That would be Super Zero, right?
And I think depending on who you're talking about at the table, the 3-boying is this game is Beyond the Sun. So moving on, I would like to just mention before we start, Jake gave Beyond the Sun a 3, Cam and I gave it a 2.5, and Tim gave it a 2. So for Beyond the Horizon, I'll go first. I'm glad I bought this one. I don't think I need Beyond the Sun. I know Beyond the Sun with the expansion maybe gets it closer to this with like some like unique player stuff.
There is a lot of cool stuff in the expansions that came out with
Yeah.
that. There's like different cards that kind of juice your start. Think like one-time abilities versus passive things. There's a lot of cool stuff with
Yeah.
that. But the original game came with asymmetrical player powers too. That's just the advanced side.
Yeah.
Then there's just extra additional modules and stuff. And they fixed a couple technologies, added a couple other end game scoring things, I think.
Yeah, I feel like this game probably just needs like a fix pack of some kind and it'd be great. And it's still great. I'm going to give it a 2.5. I'm going to give it the same as Beyond the Sun. I'm going to keep this game. I think if you have one, you probably don't need the other. It's a coin flip for me probably. I think I enjoy the exploration board better than Beyond the Sun. And I don't know, I just like that and I like the pawns and I like the settlers and the fighters and
The buildings you mentioned really like
and I
those
like
too.
the buildings. Like I like all that a little better, but it's not enough to give it a 3. So they're both going to sit at 2.5 together for me.
Here's what's up. Retrospectively, because I've played a lot of Beyond the Sun, I can give it a better score now, and I give it a 3. Beyond the Horizon could be that same thing for me, but I've played it one time, and I'm confident in saying it's a 2.5. Just like I said, Beyond the Sun is a 2.5. Right now, I'm leaning towards thinking that I would long-term like Beyond the Sun better, but that's not necessarily always true in perpetuity. There's a lot of games where the first time I play it, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this and this and this and this, and I kind of say negative things, but then I play it like 5 times, and I'm like, no, actually, I think these are all positive things. So I want to be safe and give it a 2.5, and I want to be safe and say I think I'd always like Beyond the Sun a little bit more. But we'll see if I get to play Beyond the Horizon, a few more times over the next couple of years. And then we're doing this podcast in 2031. And I'm like, actually, Beyond the Horizon is a 3 and Beyond the Sun is a 2.99.
All right, for me, I'm probably going to be a little more long-winded here than I am in other things. So again, I mentioned earlier, Beyond the Sun is a top 10 game for me. So I am super, super high on it. I really, really enjoy it. It is not a game that, despite the volume of times that I've played it, that I grow tired of. I still don't know exactly what makes me happy to play a game over and over and not think it's samey versus when I do play a game a lot and I do think it's samey. That's still some internal analysis that needs to be done there. But I kind of think I set myself up for failure when it comes to this because much like the Agricola Caverna mention that Cam met earlier, when I play games that are mostly the same but just a little bit different, the entire time I just feel like, why am I not just playing the game that I already know and everything feels the way that I want it to feel? And so it just doesn't hit me as positively. And I think that's probably a Jake thing. I acknowledge that Caverna is a good game, but it's just, for me, it's just not Agricola. And so I just find myself wanting to play Agricola. And it really is the exact same thing here. I don't think there's anything wrong with the other board and the other things that come with it, but it's just not the game that I love, and therefore I don't know how much I want to play this one. I think I'd just rather play Beyond the Sun, and they're so similar, and I get why other people, this might scratch a little something that it doesn't. And I really acknowledge that this is a Jake thing, but I don't know. I think that I'm going to be conservative, but conservative on giving it higher than I'm actually feeling like. I'm going to give it a 2.5 because it is so close to a game that I really, really love. But like my gut is telling me to just say it's a 2, but I think that that's unfair. And that's just me having the reaction of it just not quite being what I want it to be. And that frustration is probably making me go lower. So I'm saying 2.5. I think it is a good game. If you are not Jake and you like playing games that are similar but not quite the same as the game you really like, then I definitely think you should try it because it is a similar experience that offers, just a little bit different options than what Beyond the Sun would.
All right, there we go. 2.5s across the board for Beyond the Horizon. Cam, hit us with that bumper dump.
Baby, turn around. I wanna see that sexy. That's like Tom Waits, right? Would he be more slow? Like, baby, turn around. I wanna see that sexy board game go. Board boys bump. I can't quite get as low as Tom.
Or dump. We are rubber dumping.
Stab him in the back alley with the board game bump. You guys know who Tom Waits is, right?
I know the name.
Okay. I feel like I'm getting no Tom Waits credit here. I feel like Jake would be a Tom Waits fan.
I don't think I know who Tom Waits is.
That's insane to me that you don't know who Tom Waits is. Tom Waits would be like your favorite guy.
Who's Tom Waits?
He's like a famous singer with that voice like that for many, many years, who's like internationally celebrated as like a pinnacle of like music for guys with like long mustaches and beards. What's that?
His stage name was Tom Waits. He's not
his real name is Tom Waits. He's the Tom Waits. TOMWAITS.
I've literally never heard of that.
I cannot, but this is blowing. I feel like I'm living in bizarro world right now because I feel like this guy. Hang on, maybe Gia's peeing right now. I feel I got real warm for a second. We'll check that out. My daughter's sitting on my lap. Anyway, that was the Tom Waits version of Bump and Dump. But we'll talk about Tom Waits another time.
Okay. All right, we are bumper dumping a Gest of Robinhood from GMT Games. On that episode, it was Cam and I. We both gave it a 2.5. It was a 7.8 for 1,642 overall. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a bump, but probably not a huge one.
No, it's now 7.7.
I would guess it's a dump.
It is 1445, so it bumped a little bit.
Oh, really?
This is my favorite GMT game. I've only
Twilight Struggle.
It's better than Twilight Struggle.
You are insane. Like it's 100%. A masterpiece.
Is it better than Twilight Struggle? No. Can I learn how to play it the first time I play it? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's probably an accurate statement. Will I have more fun playing it like the 5 times I play it? And I'd have to play Twilight Struggle 1 billion times to be good at
Twilight
that game.
Struggle is so good, and nobody plays it with me.
So anyway,
I'd play it with you, but we'd never get to play games together, you know? And
that's true.
Is it on Board Game Arena?
I don't think so.
But Watergate is.
I don't really like Watergate. Let's talk about that another time.
I also don't really like Watergate, but I see the allure of Twilight Struggle. I really do.
But do you know what is on Board Game Arena? Adjusted for Robinhood.
Yeah, Just of Robinhood is.
Yes, and it is fantastic on there, and I make people play with me, and then
and so is the true Twilight Struggle for real minds, Toy Battle.
That's true.
If you're a real Twilight Struggle player and you want something a little more heady, Toy Battle.
I do love me some Toy Battle.
Toy Battle is like an astoundingly good game.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna, for the once in the history of this podcast, I'm going to derail this because I feel like I need to just say some things about Twilight Struggle really fast.
That's fine.
Here's the thing. What makes Twilight Struggle so good and why games like Watergate just cannot compare is it's just Twilight Struggle, all of the cards do different things, but the other side doesn't just have a card that undoes it. And Watergate is all about, I do this thing, and then somebody plays a card that just undoes exactly what I did. Twilight Struggle, they're different. Like the cards, what they do, the way you play them together, like it is, there's so much complexity in the way that you can make that function, and it's so good. Play it.
Was the number 1 game on BGG for many, many years.
So was Agricola.
It's very true. So we didn't have any comments on it just for Robinhood, so
I've never played it.
Boo on all you people.
You know what I miss?
And I know I've had people play this with me on BGA, so although most of them I did teach David Dugas in real life. And
where's Ichabod on this one?
I've played this 1 million times in real life too now. I mean, not literally 1 million, but the thing is, it is similar. Like you have to play it a few times to kind of get it, but all the rules are pretty much on this like little player aid that tells you what the actions you can do are, which is pretty wild for a game like this. Anyway, check out Adjust of Robinhood on BGA. It's really fun. And send me an invite if you want to do that.
And send me an invite to Toy Battle.
Same.
That's the 3 brain levels of the board boys right there. Jake, Twilight Struggle, Rob, Just of Robinhood, Cam, Toy Battle.
Thanks, everybody, for listening to another episode of the Board Boys Podcast, Season 18, Episode 11, Beyond the Horizon. Go to theboardboys.com for all the juicy links out there. You can go to our Facebook or Instagram, check out all the pictures. We've got a lot of stuff recently from Geekway to the West out there. It's pretty cool. You go to the Patreon link and you can support us, or you can support us with 5-star iTunes or Spotify reviews. Also, you could click that BGA link and play some BGA games with Cam and I and
Yeah.
not Jake.
Or maybe
Or
Jake would come back, depending on
maybe Jake will be
what
back.
game you want to play.
Jake needs to maybe make it back to
If
BGA.
I just send
Yeah.
Jake an invite, will he accept it?
So I think part of the problem that led to me not being on BGA is it emails me about my turns, but it doesn't email me when I get invited to games.
Mm.
And I think people were just waiting for me.
Do you know
and
why
didn't
that is? Is because you can choose whether or not to send an email invite.
Oh, I always send an email invite.
Oh,
You can
so
also-
those people weren't
You can
emailing
also
me.
turn email invites off. Like Braden has his email invites turned off. You can't
Mm.
email the guy.
I definitely didn't do that setting, but that was
Okay.
part of the problem.
Well, I will do an experiment later.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
Although I'm going to be driving until like 1 a.m. and then I'm on a short vacation for a few days. But I probably will be playing BGA because I'm going to try to work Monday and Tuesday from my location.
I would like to thank our patrons now. BJ from Board Game Gumbo, Timothy Crisco, Shifty Teeth, Jordan Smith, Andre Bosch, Braden Dowdy, Rob Cooper, Matt Kelly, Portland Gamecraft, Terry Ward, Mark D. the Fourth, and Jeremy Thoman. Thanks again, everybody. And until next time, we hope you like board games.
Have we ever talked about how Braden Dowdy's name is like pretty close to Adrian Brody? I mean, if you just switch around a couple consonants, right?
I can honestly say that it's not something that I've thought about before.
Yeah, because when Rob kind of goofed it there, he was starting to say Dre, and I was like, well, what if we mix? What if you flip out some of those letters? We basically have Adrian Brody. You ever thought about that, Braden? Put that in your pipe and smoke it, bud.
We'll see everybody next time beyond the horizon.
And I haven't said this for a while, so I just want everybody to remember that very soon there will be a party for the world. DJ Steve Walsh, boing boing boing.